Oh, I think my screen's a bit dirty. It's got to be there because it's on charge. Kind of broke my iPhone, having a bit of an iPhone nightmare. So, perimenopause. So many people contacting me about it that have really enjoyed the lives that I've been doing on them and the other information, and saying that it feels like a breath of fresh air because I'm not going, oh, you're going to get this, and oh, you're going to feel like this, and oh, I think we kind of know the hot sweats, the vaginal dryness, putting on weight around the middle, going a bit mixed up in the brain, all this kind of stuff, and that's all we think about, yeah? And yes, we may have some of those symptoms, but they can be pretty easily, pretty easily helped out, made better. So I want to look beyond menopause as well, because it seems like when we talk about perimenopause and menopause, as women are almost like, oh, my life's over. It's just beginning. If we live till like we're 97, I'm 42 now, I've got years of living menopause-free of symptoms. That didn't make sense, but you know what I mean. So it really is about focusing on, you're going to have a few years where you may have hot sweats, and you may put a little bit of weight on, or the diet that worked before is not going to work, or all this kind of stuff. It's nothing to be fearful of. It's just another stage of life, and we just need to embrace it. One of the things that will happen is if you don't get yourself starting to look after yourself now as soon as you can, then you're not going to sail through menopause like you won't. We really do need a team of experts behind us. I'm going to help you get that team, okay? And what kind of team will help you in another life. But we really need to start putting ourselves first. If we're not going to bed early, if we're not getting the sleep that we need, if we are working mad hours, picking the kids up from school, answering the emails while you're doing the tea, putting the kids to bed, answering more emails, watching Netflix, having a glass of wine to de-stress, if you're doing that, then that is exactly where you're going wrong. You're just not dialing in with your body, and it's almost like you're switching off and getting this overwhelm instead of thinking, do you know what, there's other things that can fill me up. Going to bed early, drinking more water, reducing caffeine, reducing alcohol, doing more things that fill you up. And the amount of moms that are messaging at the moment that want to join my program but just won't invest, they just don't think that they're worth that £3 a day. And it's just madness. We are treating ourselves as women worse than we would treat a dog. We're not walking ourselves. We're not resting ourselves. We're not patting ourselves on the back. And we're not feeding ourselves good food. And that is why we have more issues with menopause. Because in some countries where they do more meditation and they eat healthily, and maybe the women don't work, or maybe the women work but they've got a house husband or something, they don't have the menopause symptoms that you might have, because you can't do it all. It's impossible to do it all. And this is why you need a team of helpers that have got your back to help you. So diet, I've mentioned caffeine. Caffeine will really not be great for your hot sweats. It's kind of like shining, isn't it? Caffeine won't be great for your hot sweats, nor will alcohol. So if you're using one to wake you up and another one to de-stress you, they're actually having totally the opposite effect on our bodies. So it's not you can't have alcohol, it's accept the fact that if you're having a glass of wine at night, your sleep will be affected, and maybe your hot sweats. It's your choice, okay? Totally your choice. A lot of people, when they go through menopause, notice that they wake up with anxiety. Yeah, that's something that happens to me. So if I have a glass of wine at night at 3 o'clock, I wake up with anxiety, okay? How can that anxiety, those hot sweats, be made better? Don't have the caffeine, don't drink the alcohol. Simple, okay? And it's really about when I am feeling the overwhelm, I breathe, I meditate, I book in with myself 2 nights a week where I go to bed early. Really, food is the key. Food really, really will help you. And it's not being on a diet. The amount of people that I look at their diet and they think they're eating healthily, and I'm like, no, we need to change this, we need to change that, we need to change that, and then hey presto, the weight falls off. So if you're having, if you're missing breakfast, if you're grabbing a croissant on the way to work, if your breakfast is something like often Weetabix, although Weetabix isn't a bad breakfast, it's kind of like eating air really, it doesn't really fill you up. Then you may be having a naked bar at break time washed down with a Diet Coke, a sandwich and a packet of crisps washed down with a Diet Coke, or maybe you're having a tiny Marks and Spencer's salad, okay? And then you get really hungry, you're having that crash, so you're reaching for that caffeine. And then with the caffeine, you want the chocolate, you need a sugar kick. Then you decide to eat your dinner with your husband, or when you put the kids to bed, so that's 8 o'clock. So then you're going from 1 o'clock to 8 o'clock. And then you're picking at the kids' leftovers, okay? Then you're having that glass of wine and then a few nibbles on an evening. And that is why you are holding on to body fat around the middle. We need a totally different approach to it. We need to keep those energy levels up with foods like protein, okay? Lean protein, chicken, fish, okay? Really, really good for you. Soy is really good for you when you're going through the menopause as well. And you need lots of flax seeds, lots of seeds, lots of berries, all that kind of stuff. But you really need a diet that's based around protein and vegetables, okay? That doesn't mean that carbs are out, that doesn't mean that fats are out either, okay? But that's what our body needs to keep us really going. And eating the food, not being scared to eat, so eating about every 3 hours will really, really help you with those symptoms as well. When we feel anxiety, sit with it. Don't try and ignore it, listen to it and say, if you've listened to that meditation, I love you and I am listening. What is it that you want? When you feel overwhelmed and you want to go into the cupboards and reach for the Haribos and stuff, sit down, listen, ask yourself, what is it you really, really want? Is it the Haribos that are really, really, that you want? You may want them, but what else is your body trying to tell you? Because with anxiety, it's your body's way of trying to tell you something, okay? And often we're shutting it down with emotional eating or emotional drinking and not listening to it, or keeping ourselves busy to try and ignore that anxiety. But then we just get more anxiety because we're busier. What about if you sat down and listened to the anxiety? Does it mean you've got to understand it? What if you just sat down and breathed? And you didn't need that glass of wine to help you relax. You just sat down with yourself and breathed. How would you feel if your diet was really balanced consistently? Not a day here and a day there, but every day you were pretty consistent, unless you were going out for a meal or meeting, having a social occasion or someone's birthday. What about if you consistently ate really healthy for your hormones to balance those hormones? What if you rested more? What if you walked in nature more? What if you patted yourself on the back more? What if you did more things that filled you up? Do you think you would feel better, or do you think you would feel worse? So when we often think about the stuff that we've got to give up, like, okay, Emma said not to have caffeine. I've had 2 cups of coffee today. Emma said not to have alcohol. We often think about the negative. I can't. I'm going through menopause. This is a dull moment. I'm putting on weight. What if we thought about it a different way and thought, actually, I'd love a cup of coffee, but that isn't going to feed my body as I need to do it. That's going to send my heart racing. That's going to bring on anxiety. That's going to make my sleep poor. What about if we said, instead of I can't, we focused on what we can have and what is readily available that's really, really nutritious and nice? What if we just changed it up a little bit? And what if we didn't make a massive deal of it? And just week by week, bit by bit, we just change things. until we got to where we want. Because that's how I've done it. And I feel amazing. I've had a weekend sat on the M25, 5 hours I think back yesterday. It was raining this morning. We had to do the school run, got lots of work. I could have been really negative about it, but I really wasn't negative about it. I put on some music. I did some breathing, I got into the zone, I've eaten healthily, I've met a friend, I haven't walked, haven't had a chance to walk, but I have listened to music, okay? So there's lots and lots of ways that we can make ourselves feel better. Once we start feeling better and feeding our emotions better, then we start feeding ourselves better, yeah? And starting to chase that feeling. So I had a Marks and Spencer's meal on the way back from the motorway yesterday, and it instantly made me go, yes, it was healthy. One of my clients, we've ditched the Marks and Spencer's healthy meals, and we've changed it up with some food suggestions from me, and she's dropped a dress size in a month, okay? It's not that Marks and Spencer's bad, but it's just not quite right for everyday consumption. So if you're looking for a plan that's diet, exercise based, I've got it. I know it. I can give it to you. You've just got to be worth £3.50 a day. If you don't want to spend that, I've just given you all the free information you need. Book in your early nights, protein, green vegetables, be consistent. Remember, caffeine and alcohol have a negative effect. They're not actually a pick-me-up and a stress release. Get out in nature, pat yourself, rest more, do more fun things. Do more fun things for you. Okay, that doesn't mean beating yourself up at the gym because you think that's what you need to do to actually get fit and healthy. So it's all there for you. You just got to do it. So have a lovely day. Bye.